Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 4 of the Iron Purpose podcast. In this episode, I am joined by my buddy, Grant Feltz. I've known Grant ever since he was in 3rd grade when he was just a young little whippersnapper, and he is no longer that. As you will see and as you will hear, he has grown up quite a bit in business, in his fitness, and just life overall. We talk about him growing up, being a middle child of 2 other brothers, and what that's meant to him and how it shaped him into who he is today. We also get into his fitness journey and what that means to him, his journey in businesses, his work experience growing up, and what it means to kind of embrace the suck and go into the grind and not be afraid to just keep going regardless of what people think or what they say about you. It was a very encouraging, inspirational chat with a very, very bright young man who's got quite the future ahead of him. Hope you enjoy this conversation as much as I did. This is episode 4 of the Iron Purpose podcast featuring Grant Feltz. Stay sharp, everybody.
Love it.
All right, Grant. What's up, buddy?
How we doing, Bailey?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm awesome. Glad to finally be on a pod. I've never been on one before. I'm kind of excited.
Ooh, come your
little
first
nervous,
one.
little nervous.
Oh, it's gonna be so great. No, I'm stoked. I've been. You're one of those guys, like, because I went to school. Man, I don't even know how old are you?
22.
22. Okay, and I'm 28. So like we went to the same school for a while until I graduated. Yeah. And so I've known you for a long time, and just kind of seeing your come up and what you're doing now is it's been pretty neat. And with this podcast, I want to bring people on like I talked to you about, and like anybody listening has heard before. Something where you look at people, or you just have those people in your life. You go, he's got something that I want to know about. Like, how does he do this? What makes this person tick? And you're kind of one of those guys. So it's I'm really excited to get you on too, man. And kind of when I got this opportunity to get this one going, I was like, all right, we're gonna get him in here. So
awesome, yeah.
I'm pumped about it.
That's super cool.
What you been up to lately? Anything fun and exciting?
Just hitting the gym, eating food, working. That's really all you got going on right now. I mean, I just got done with college, so it's really like weird transition period for me. Like it's fall, but I'm not in school. Like I've been in school since I was a kid. It's my first like seeing the leaves change and not being in like having to go to school in the morning. Like
is this the first time?
I want. Yeah, it's my first. This is my first like September, fall series where it's like I don't have to go to school. Like nobody can tell me what to do. I can spend as long as I want at the gym. Like it's like whatever I want. It's so weird.
Right. No bedtimes.
Yeah, right. I go to bed at 9 now.
Dogs on the counter.
Dogs on the counter. No, I go to bed at 9. Life's like changed. Like as soon as college got over, it's like drinking sucks. Let's just better ourselves every single day. Mm-hmm. It's just becoming the best version of yourself. Really, is all it is.
Right.
So that's just what I'm working on now.
Absolutely. So you just graduated school. Where'd you go to school at?
Went to Mankato.
Mankato. Okay.
Majored in marketing and management, and then emphasis in business. So double major, and then I minored in AET, which is automotive engineering tech, which was basically just so I could get access to the lab, so I could fix my car when it breaks.
Smart.
My brother did it. He's like, dude, it's sweet, and you're gonna learn stuff too. So it's like hands on. Like that sounds sweet. We're gonna do that.
So there's a bunch of classes on it as well. Like what kind of stuff did you learn in that?
In AET? Yeah. So it's basically just how to work on a car. So it's like how like base mechanic skills. And then you get access to the lab where they have like dynos and stuff. I never got high enough in the curriculum to do that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But it was just like general maintenance work and then like how cars work kind of stuff. But the access to the lab with the lifts and the equipment and the tools and the knowledge if you have a question when something breaks was like priceless.
Oh, I bet. Especially
worth it.
Yeah, especially in school, like when you're down there and you don't have, like for me, because I don't know anything about vehicles really, even to this day. So like if something were to break down, I'd be like, Dad, or Grandpa, Uncle, anybody, or my buddy Matt Wydell. He was really good at vehicles, so I'd be like, Matt, my car's being stupid, my stupid minivan. I wish there were more like classes like that, even in high school. And I'm sure there are
totally
more now.
should be. There totally should be. There should be a shop for everybody.
Yes.
So, like you should at least know how to change a tire, and you probably should know how to change your own oil. Like it's just two things that like girls. I mean, like they can have it right off, sure, but like dudes, you should know how to change your tire, and you should know not to walk into a mechanic shop and ask for windshield wiper fluid or for blinker fluid.
Blinker fluid. You haven't done that before, have you?
I've done it. I did it to a girl. Jonas and I actually talked about it a little bit ago. And yeah, we did it. We couldn't resist. I mean, we were changing her headlight, and we're like, "You need to go get more blanket fluid." And then she just was so confident about it, and she spent like 5 minutes in there. But yeah,
that's amazing. That's diabolical, but that's hilarious.
Yeah, some people just ask me like, "How do you know how to do this stuff?" I'm like, "You just got to use your hands, and either learn it on YouTube or have somebody teach you."
Right. Like, figure it out.
You just have to want to know, really.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of a cheat code. You just have to want to know, or just know how to fix it yourself. Right. Shay was my older brother. Shay, he's always been super good at like finding out things on his own, and he's just like my Google. Like I'll just go to him with my questions instead of going to Google because it's easier just to ask him than it is to like search for it on my own because he's just
that's awesome.
It's just a knowledge. He just absorbs it like crazy. It's nuts.
Love that.
Yeah.
Well, cool. We kind of got into a little bit what you're about and where you went to school. Let's take it way back.
Yeah.
Tell us, for those who don't know who you are, and I'm sure there are a few that do, what got you to where you are today? And like I said, you can go as deep as you want, shallow as you want. What makes you you?
Let's start. Well, we'll start with business, I guess. Mm-hmm. Probably back when I was 12 years old, I started docking boats at Bar Harbor, which is basically a bossless job, I would say. Like we would get our schedule, we wouldn't have a boss telling us how to do it, so we had to learn how to make more tips, right? So Shay was really good at it. He would, bring the garbage bag, offer to empty people's garbages, wipe down the boats. He would stay late, so after the dew would set in, he would offer to wipe people's boats down. I mean, people are like intoxicated, right? Tips go up. So learning that kind of stuff was like, okay, so this is how I can make my own money. This is how I can beat my competitors. So like, let's just do better than them, and then life's good, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, let's start our own business. And at the time, I was washing dishes at Iron Waffle, which is a waffle shop where I live, and then docking boats at the same time. I'm like, this kind of blows. Started my own iPhone business. I was like, let's flip phones because it seems like a potentially good business, right?
Flip phones. What do you?
Yeah, so I buy broken on eBay, fix them myself because my older brother. Seems like Shay has a shout out Shay because I don't know what I'd have. I don't know what I would be without him. He owned an iPhone repair company prior to me getting into phone flipping.
Okay.
So I had like his knowledge. He kind of taught me how to do it, showed me the ropes, where to start, where to learn, right? And then started doing that. Went on to stop flipping phones and started fixing them, like just screens and batteries. I did a couple cases, but yada yada. I did that until I was like 16, 17, 18 maybe. Mm-hmm. And then college kind of took over and then got supplemented with, family stuff. And then I went to college and then started up. What came next? Sprayed for mosquitoes a little bit.
Did you do that on your own?
Yeah, I did that on my own. I started with my neighbor, both neighbors on both sides, because my dad was like, hey, you should spray for mosquitoes in these guys so that we have better protection. So we have like a little bit of a balloon, and then they offered to pay me on both sides. I'm like, is this like a thing that I could do? And I had to be 15 at the time, coming up on 16. So then when I turned 16, I started spraying and I grew my client base, and then kind of took lawn care in, and then took up a couple other gigs like driving boats for people, chauffeuring, that kind of stuff. And then
such a good idea.
Yeah, I should have gone harder on that. The groundwork was there. We did all the groundwork, and then come summer, we're like, I got the spring cleanups for mowing, All right. And we got busy, and then we're like, it's enough income for the summer. Let's just be kids, and then we were kids.
You got it. Got it.
Then come fall, the bank accounts are empty again. And we're like, man, we should have done that. Right. Yeah, and then G Lake Services was born, and that's what I'm running with now. So that's basically like my holding company, I call it. It's just my little baby. It's what I run everything out of. And then right now, my biggest venture is Refresh IV, which is a mobile IV clinic, which almost went to ground because the hurricane wiped out the supplier for the United States.
Oh my goodness.
IV bags, yeah. So they supplied 60% of the IV bags to the entire country, and the other 40% that's left over, hospitals are taking because people are dying without IV bags. So I'm very low on getting my hands on IV bags. So we're shifting to a new offer, which is self-injection vitamins, which is super interesting. And it should be live here pretty soon. Maybe I'll shout it out at the end. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's kind of like, 14 to 22.
All right. With just a couple questions before if you have any more. So before, what's the company now called? You said Refresh IV.
Yeah, that's like the head company.
Okay, and then before that, your own little. You said you have your own little thing going on. What does that entail? Or is that just that's like your overall thing?
Yeah, G-Lake Services is like what I'll run my DBAs through.
DBAs.
Doing business as. So like Northern Lawn Professionals was my lawn care and spraying side. So that was a DBA of G-Lake Services. So you don't have to open a whole new LLC. It's just like it's my little umbrella company.
Like it. Okay.
Yeah. Refresh IV is a separate thing, legally speaking. That is a different entity and not tied together at all. But
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So in working with Refresh IV, that's not your own startup thing. It's more like you pretty much get the supplies and push it out, or how does that work? If you can talk about it.
I can talk about it. It just gets really confusing to explain. So basically, I partner with an MD who owns 51% of Refresh IV, but I own the Refresh IV name, so that's where it gets confusing. And then all the medical things on this side of the channel are handled by the MD, like everything medical, right? All the vitamins, dosing, and everything like that. G-Lake Services over here, which is a management company, does all the marketing and sales. So I'm the face of Refresh IV, which is why you only see me running it. But I can't make any medical decisions. I can only advise my MD to hire and fire people. Okay. So that's where it gets kind of wonky to like explain. And then there's a lot more into it, like legally speaking. But
right.
That to the public is fine. Yeah.
Sure.
It gets super washy. It's the FDA is like weird on it, and then like they care about some things and they don't care about other things, and it's like, where do you draw the line? But IVs are pretty. It's a growing industry for sure. Which kind of stinks that it got wiped out, but
yeah,
we'll rebuild and come back stronger. So.
Right, absolutely. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about competitors or anything. Or is there anything else out there like that within the area, or is this like a new kind of thing that's going on? Because I hadn't heard about it until I saw you posting stuff about it.
Yeah, IVs have been popping off for like the last 10 years. Obviously they started in like Hollywood and stuff with the NAD+, which is like basically an anti-aging like superpower. So that's like how all the Kardashians haven't aged since they started the show.
Sure.
They're using that compound. And then it's slowly growing over our way. It went down to Florida for hydration because you're in the sun all day, you're sweating. It's 30 minutes and you like rehydrate all the way. And then it's slowly growing up here, trying to get in the wellness community, but Minnesota it's kind of taking a while, you know. But nobody else is doing mobile in the BLA.
Sure.
There are other clinics that offer it, but nobody's mobile.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. So what kind of things are, so what is Refresh IV, if you don't mind me asking? What kind of stuff are you, if somebody, go ahead.
When we originally started, it was completely mobile, so no brick and mortar location. So our nurses would come to you after you book an IV appointment. So they would bring the bag to your location. They would boost it with vitamins, whether it's, vitamin C, D, whatever you want, right? And then you get that injected intravenously into a vein. So it goes directly in your bloodstream. It's the little drip bags, the little banana bags that they have at hospitals. We just boost ours with vitamins when we do it at your house instead of you having to come to a location to inconvenience yourself. You just show up at your house and you start feeling better before you know it.
Okay. Is it so why would somebody want to do this? Why would somebody want to take this IV? Is it something, would a doctor ever prescribe, hey, you should probably have some of this? Or is it somebody, is looking for another way to boost their life? Or what do you see the most of?
Yeah. I would say that like optimizing your wellness for sure, because doctors don't want to prescribe stuff that they don't make any money on, right?
Right.
Doctors these days, we have dealers, not dealers, right? So if they can prescribe something, they're just going to do that because it's a big red easy button. They e-scribe it. They type in the medication, they type in how much to give you, and then they just send it out and they're done and they get paid.
Right.
Whereas like with us, one of my most recent ones that I had, clients I had, she's battling Lyme disease, and she wasn't able to keep any food down for the last 3 days.
Ugh.
She called me and she was like, hey, here's my symptoms. What do you think I should do? And I was like, okay, let's try some anti-nausea. Let's get some amino acids and a B complex, and then we'll throw glutathione in there to detoxify. And she was like, she texted me 2 hours later after the appointment was over, and she was like, 1, your nurse is awesome, love her, and 2, I was able to keep food down for the first time in 3 days.
Wow.
And like that is it just sends chills in my back. Like that's so cool that like I was able to help somebody like that. I never thought I'd be in that situation in life.
Wow, that's powerful.
We can boost it with anything. We can do not performance enhancing. we can't do PEDs, but we can boost recovery. We can boost recovery, and then we can do weight management. There's all sorts of stuff we can put in there. Like if you can dream it, yeah. I had one the other day. It was she had a sinus like almost like it wasn't congestion, but it was inflammation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I made her up a custom bag, and without even thinking about it, I'm like, she like might get some recovery stuff, but I didn't even tell her about it. She was able to breathe. She hadn't been able to smell for 3 years. I don't know what this disease is called. I don't quote me on what it's called, but she wasn't able to breathe for 3 years. She was like, I can smell again, and my bench press went up by 10 pounds. I'm like, what? Okay, bench press is awesome, cool. We love that, but you can breathe again. You haven't been able to breathe for 3 years.
Right.
Not being able to breathe. She hasn't been able to smell. She was able to smell for the first time in like 3 years. Like, that is insane.
That's
the
crazy.
Power of this stuff, and the doctors aren't even like pushing it. They're not promoting it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. And like some states are strict on it, others aren't. Florida's honestly the biggest on it.
Really?
For like the overall wellness. California loves their NAD+, but you can get that injectable now. You don't need an IV anymore.
Sure.
But
yeah. Why do you think that is? Why Florida? Do you think it's more of a
It's a red state.
Okay.
It's because I don't know if we want to go there. they're like if it works, do it. Like it's tested and stuff. Yeah. They just have less regulations to cut through. Like if I was down there, I would have had my business launched in like a month. Instead of half a year. It took me like 7 months to launch this one because of all the regulations I had to go through.
Have you thought about relocating, or is that
Florida's pretty saturated for that reason.
Yeah. Right.
I've thought about moving there just for because it's Florida. It's sweet.
Yeah.
It's good for marketing. It's good for marketing. But I might check it out in the spring maybe for a month. But I want to move there. I don't think I move shop there though. I'll keep a shop here. I do want to branch out to other states up here though, just to spread the wellness.
Right.
Where people don't have it.
For sure, yeah. Especially if Florida is already saturated.
Yeah, I mean, there's one on every street corner. Like, it's crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Just because normal people can open them. You just need a partnership with a compound pharmacy and a bunch of nurses. But up here, you gotta do a bunch of BS to get the company open.
Sure. Well, I feel like you also want to know kind of what you're doing as far as what you're dealing with. What went into the process for that? Did your degree help out with that kind of stuff, or was just figuring it out for your own?
Just struggling through Google. My brother wasn't able to help me, unfortunately. So I had to actually Google myself. Like, all right, fine.
Research.
But yeah, research. It was just keyboard warrior all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Just lots and lots of questions, lots of perplexity, and it's fun though. It was weird like having a big boy job. Like I have employees and like there's payroll and contracts and lawyers. Lawyers was the biggest thing. I was like, do you need people to sign everything?
Right.
You can't just like mess around and like we'll find out later. Like somebody's gonna come after you if you mess up. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it could be scary.
Mm-hmm.
But it's cool that hasn't deterred you from
if anything, it's intrigued me. I'm like, what could happen? Sky's the limits then. Like if there aren't gonna be as many competitors, competition is good. I learned that from childhood with having brothers. Competition is good.
Ooh,
like you don't want to be like the only person. You don't want to have 60% of the United States relying on you to supply IV bags. Like that's not good.
Right.
But competition is good a little bit. Sometimes there's oversaturation, like Florida's oversaturated. But a little people, it's like, hey, let's see who's the best. Who has the best reviews? Like if you can pop up on top of 5 other people on Google Maps, then you have like 200 5-star reviews, and this guy has 100, 3 stars. You're gonna go with me instead of the person who's lower.
Right, for sure. Reviews are huge, especially when Courtney and I went over to like Italy and we were traveling around. Like if we would look at some restaurants, we're like, "Oh, this food looks really good. Oh, so does this one." Pull up the reviews. If there was like a couple bad reviews, and like even if it was like 1 more star more, she was like, "No, we're going to the one that has better reviews." Like hotels,
it's
everything. Huge. Yeah, it's like I don't care what you're telling me as a business owner guy, but if you don't have any reviews,
obviously we think our company's the best, even if it's not.
Right.
But like you can't fake reviews.
Right. Yeah. Personal experiences. Yeah. It's that's awesome.
People seem to like relate with that star review. Like they see that 5-star and they see 200 and they're like, it's bulletproof. Like it can't be wrong.
Right. Even if there are,
you see like right, because there's always those like 1 or 2 like, low reviews just because they're pissed off. But
right.
Yeah, the reviews are crazy.
Oh, that's awesome, and I'm sure we'll get back into. I'm sure we'll dabble into that, but maybe talk about your relationship with your brothers. You talked about the business side of you kind of growing up and why you kind of came into that. I got a couple notes, so we'll probably touch back on that. But You said that competition, that healthy competition started when you were younger, and you're a middle brother. You got an older
Yep.
brother and a younger brother.
Yep. We're all 3 years apart.
Okay. And I'm very similar. I think it's me. Noah's about 3 years, Jonas is about 3 years, and Ethan's about 3 years. So yeah, it's like boom, 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 right, just like that. So relatable, but
yeah, for sure. I think I don't know, man. Three is just, it's competitive when there's 3 of them, because when there's 4, there's 2 sets of 2.
right.
But when there's 3, there's 1 set of 2, and there's 1 oddball. So you're always competing. Like when we were younger, it was me and Cole until Shay turned like 17, and then it was me and Shay.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're all just competing against each other. We obviously want to beat each other,
Right.
whether it was like jiu-jitsu or snowboarding in the backyard. Like whoever's
Sure.
best, that's who's biggest, right? Didn't matter if you're bigger, faster, and stronger,
Mm-hmm.
smarter. Whoever beat who at whatever sport won. But yeah, competition's great. I think it really helps to grow you as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Like even with jiu-jitsu, that was probably my favorite thing, was rolling against Shay and Cole and just like learning about each other and just like seeing your weaknesses and seeing what my strong points are and how I can put my strong point up against your weak point in order to win. It's such a cool growing experience. And you just apply that everywhere else, and it's like, it's a cheat code.
Right. And it is neat growing up too, because I have 3 younger brothers, like I said, as you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do have that competitiveness. Like and sometimes it's 3-on-1. We'll pick on Ethan, or sometimes Jonas and I would pick on Noah, or Noah and I would pick on Jonas and Ethan, and back and forth. But then when somebody else tries to pick on them, then it's like, hold on.
We're brotherhood. Only I get to pick on my brother. I've heard that a couple times from Shay when like somebody was picking on me, and he's like, you don't know. And the same thing goes for Cole. Like nobody picks on Cole with me and Shay. And like it's just a bond. Oh, it's unbreakable.
I just got goosebumps. There really is something about it, And one of my brothers had something going on a couple months ago, and like it was kind of like an emergency, and I was at home. It's like 9:00, and I heard about it. I'm like, I'm coming there now, and I drove really fast to get there, probably faster than I should have, but it was like, and my wife, I wasn't able to tell her a whole lot of details at the time, so I was just like, I'm worried about this. It all turned out to be great, just fine. Everybody was okay, but like, I was like, I gotta go. Like, I know you may not understand, but like, it's my brother. Like, I gotta be there, and I gotta be there fast, and I'm about to throw hands if I have to. Like,
yeah, you gotta protect for sure.
Like, they call you up, hey, I need help.
Where are you at? Yeah. What do I need to bring, right? Yep.
I got my gun, I got everything else.
Yeah,
like,
do we need the shovel, or we leave that at home? Like, how gnarly are we to get here tonight?
Right. No, dude, just pick up some potato salad or something. Come on. Like...
Exactly. Whatever it is, man. If that phone rings, you answer it. If it's for the brothers, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Brothers are great.
So how has your relationship with your brothers influenced the way you approach friendships and connections with others? I know it's one of the questions that I had written down.
I don't know if anything can compare to brotherhood. I've come close, probably closest with Jonas. Him and I have been through like seasons. Yeah, we've been super close, and then there was nothing, and then we saw each other at a party. We're like, "You good? Yeah, I'm good. You good?" And we dabbed each other up, and we hung out and watched the Super Bowl that night. We hadn't talked in like 2 or 3 years, and then he was at my house. We were just watching the Super Bowl, betting on it. It was great. Yeah, but yeah, it's weird trying to like compare a friendship to a brotherhood, because it's hard. I mean, right? Like that's your bro. Like we live together.
Right.
What else do I need? Like, I'm not going to call you at 4 a.m. and you're probably not going to answer, and you're definitely not going to come. But I hit up Shay, and he's like, yeah, shit, all right, I'll book a flight home. Like, yeah.
Right.
So it's tough making friends after you have a brotherhood like that.
Right. But it's also cool because like, no matter what, it's something you can go back to.
He's my blood. Like, he doesn't have the choice to leave, and I don't have the choice to leave. So, like, he's stuck. My bad. But, but yeah, it makes it interesting. Trying to compare a friendship to a brother, they're not the same.
It is tough because you have that loyalty, like I said, and unfortunately, friends do come and go. But knowing that you have your brothers, especially when you do have a couple of them to kind of lean back on, and this is kind of an interesting analogy, but Jonas and I, like, we went to 9th Street when kickball was going on. It was 2 years ago. And we got there and had our drinks or whatever, and then Rob gave us these little like tokens. It was a buy one get one since we're sponsored by him, and so we go there after the games, and he'll give us buy one get ones. And Jonas is like, oh, should I use it right now or not? I was like, well, if you don't, you can keep it in your wallet. And we both did it. We both had one in our wallet for the longest time. It's like, no matter how bad my day went, if it was just a crappy day and I deal with this and that, or I'm having anxiety or I'm going through like a spell of depression, at least I know I got a drink at 9th Street waiting for me with that token in our wallet. Like, at least I know no matter what I go through, I can see that and go, I can get a free drink at 9th Street if I want.
Yeah.
So kind of bringing
it's
it back.
Always there.
Yeah. So kind of bringing it back to the conversation. It's like, no matter what I go through in my day, if I piss somebody off or, a business transaction doesn't go well or, whatever the case may be, it's like, at least I got my brother. I can call him up if I need to. Any one of them. It's going to be a different conversation with each one, between Noah, Jonas.
Pick your brothers. And you're like, what answer do I want to hear right now? And you're like, all right, we'll call that brother. Yeah.
Yeah. Do I want some wisdom? Do I want to be talked into doing something crazy? Or do I just want to goof around with another one? So it's like Noah, Ethan, Jonas. So it's neat. And it's also cool as you get older too. Like, and, for me too, it's being the oldest. I'm in just a little bit of a different position. Having them rely on me as well, as much as I try to rely on them. Like,
you're an icebreaker. Yeah. The oldest is an icebreaker for sure. Like the rules that you had when you were a kid are like damn near 100% different than the ones that Ethan had.
Yes.
Like, I'm sure.
Yes.
Like, Shay was like that poor guy. And then there's Cole. Cole could go jump off a bridge. And, he'll be fine. He'll come back in the morning. Like, it's whatever. Yeah, so the oldest is always an icebreaker for sure.
Are you driving on a bridge right now? Yeah, I gotta stop. Don't get off the bridge.
Yeah, like he'll be fine. He'll come back in the morning.
He'll be all right. That's 100% Ethan. My mom still worries about it, but it's like
it's what mom has to, but like it's not the same set of rules. Like the age group gets younger and younger.
Yeah, I used to have to like plug my phone in on the counter in the kitchen before I went to bed.
Ethan didn't do that.
No. Curfews. I got pretty good with curfews. As time went on, I was able to stay out later and later. But
it upped like every 30 minutes, like every year or something like that. There was a couple years that like, we're getting up there in 30 minutes here. Yeah,
it's midnight. My mom's not calling me. I think we're good. We made it.
Well, when you check that phone, you got 4 missed phone calls from mom. Oh, that's scarier than one from dad.
I don't disagree. I do not disagree.
No.
Let's see what else we got here. We kind of hammered down some of the good ones with with family and friends. Are with your family, are there lessons or values you've learned from them to help guide you and build and maintain friendships? I know it's kind of the same question, but it's a tough one because you don't want to relate every friendship that you have to the ones that you have with your brothers, just because it's going to be different. It's apples and oranges.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Friendship. I've never really been a big friend, dude. I got those 3 mother truckers. Like it's me and them. Like I don't need much more than that. Like I don't see the point in having a massive friend group because then there's too much influence, whether it's good or bad. But hopefully it's good, but
right.
The probability of a large friend group having a bad influence is rather high versus a low one. Because you have those 3 dudes you hang out with, and you're all in agreement on what you're going to do. We're all just going to go hunting this weekend. Like, that's what we're going to do. We're not going to go black out at the bar every night. Like, it's just Tuesday. Let's go black out. Like, if you have a massive friend group, somebody's going to black out on Tuesday.
Right.
It's inevitable. And you're going to go with, because, like, what else are you going to do?
Right. So, unless you have...
I like tight niches, yeah.
Yeah. And you and Jonas have been, like, you went to school together. You were 1 year under him, right? Younger than him?
Yeah.
Is that what
I came in 3rd grade and he was 4th, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we went all the way up, and then it's kind of funny, convenient too. We went all the way up, and then once it was high school and middle school that split off into different lunches, right? Yeah, so it was 8th and 9th. He was in 9th, and I was going into 8th. Well, we were both going into 8th and 9th, right? So I had lunch with that kid every day since 3rd grade. I'm like, this is going to suck come 8th grade.
Right.
Luckily, I got out and I got to homeschool. I was like, oh, yes, I didn't have to skip lunch with Jonas. Like, that would have sucked so bad because I was always sitting with the older kids. Yeah, I was always sitting with the grade older with Jonas and those boys. We've been through it, man. We came up together from a young age.
Absolutely. Did you So what'd you do after Lake Region? You didn't graduate from there, did you?
Yeah, I went kind of like wonky on it. So we got our property up north, and I want to do a little more hunting. So we went online. It's not homeschooled; it's online schooled. I did that from eighth grade, eighth grade till 11th grade, and I did PSCO from 11th to graduating high school. Got my AA, and then went to college, big boy college. Yeah, but PSCO by far best 2 years. Highly recommend it. Anybody who's like coming up in high school, do PSCO for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't do that. I never did, and I wish that I had. But it is what it is. Now that I'm, now that I am where I am, it's like, okay, it wouldn't have really helped me out anyways at that point. Yeah. But maybe it could have directed me in a different path. Who knows? But I agree. Yeah,
it puts a little responsibility in your hands. I think it makes you like you get to grow up like 2 years earlier,
right?
While you still have all the protections of living at home.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
when like you did that, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
I had the free time of a college student while still driving mom and dad's car. And like you only have to go to class, but you have to take care of your own schedule and you have to do your own homework. Otherwise, you get kicked out of school.
Right.
Or like you don't pass the class, and then you're not getting your AA. So it's still on you. I think it's a lot more than high school for sure.
How did you do in online school? Was it like was it more like a hybrid thing like it is now for college, or was it like you watch a video?
Yeah, it's not quite as hybrid as it is now. It's not. There wasn't Zoom class. We had what's called Blackboard Collaboration, which was just like such a bad software. Whoever designed that must have been drunk. They've messed up. Like Zoom is so much better. Zoom is like revolutionary. It would have been if I was back in those age. Like we did. So like every once in a while you'd have a class that would need to be like a video meeting. Otherwise it was just do your schoolwork. So it was all like it was goof off work. It was not real school. You cheated the whole thing. I've confessed to my dad now. It's like, yeah, I didn't learn a thing in online school. And come PSEO, where you have to take a math class in person and you can't use your computer. I had to like relearn 2 years, 3 years of math. But
you did.
Yeah, I did, because you can't fail a math class and still move on. So like you have to grow. I had to learn. There was no choice.
Right. Oh, I love that, because I was so I was homeschooled up until 7th grade. So 5th and 6th grade. Yeah. So 5th and 6th grade, I did same thing. It was but it was through a Becca book. It was through like Pensacola.
Okay.
So you watch a video. It was like a pre-recorded video of the class, and then they do like they would do the presentation or whatever, and the teacher would run through a couple of them, and then go like, "Thanks for joining our class today." Yeah, like good luck, little guy. And I'm like, what? And so I would do the same thing. I would either
didn't learn anything.
Yeah, I would look it up on something else, or he'd be like, "Yeah, we have a test on Tuesday," and I'd be like, "No, we don't." Click, like, skip.
Yeah.
It was so bad because I would just procrastinate. I think I had ADHD or ADD or whatever it is at the time, and I just didn't know it, and I got so distracted so easily. But same thing, and then I got to school in 7th grade at Lake Region, ended up I graduated from there, but it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't learn anything the past couple years.
What do you mean we have to do this? What are you talking about?
What are tests? Yeah.
Yeah, right. One thing it did teach you though, PSEO for sure, and a little bit of online school, is how to learn stuff on your own. Like nobody's gonna hold your hand through it once you get out. Like nobody's coming to save you. You gotta save yourself. So like having that knowledge of how to learn things on your own and like learning how to learn is such a skill. Shay was so good at that. Like looking back to him being my Google, he was so good at learning and absorbing knowledge on his own. It's like one of his high points. So being able to like learn how to learn is really important, I think. I know it's confusing to say, but
it makes sense though, and I think the younger generation isn't inclined to do that, and maybe you've seen it from a different point of view, but I think a lot of people that are coming up now just really enjoy the convenience of, even I use ChatGPT all the time, and it's like if I were, it's very convenient, it's very nice, but I think if you hadn't learned how to write or how to be creative before that, and you start relying on technology, or even like relying on technology for like entertainment all the time, and I find myself glued to my phone a lot more than I should be too, but just the convenience of everything, they don't want to have to work for it, or don't want to have to figure out life, and I was kind of the same way. I didn't get to I didn't do PSEO, but I think I kind of hit that point when I found out I was type 1 diabetic when I was 15. Now it's like, speaking of which,
I was insane. That's crazy.
That's hilarious. My pump is just telling me that it's I had to replace my my glucose monitor before the podcast, and it's just telling me that it's almost ready. All right, funny. Anyway, yeah, it's as a 15-year-old kid, all of a sudden you gotta calculate carbohydrates and make sure you're giving yourself the proper insulin. It kind of taught me a lot of responsibility when I had no really interest in doing that at the time, because I was like, yeah, I just want to play basketball with my friends and hang out at school and not really pay attention to my schoolwork and stuff. And that really kind of lit a fire under me. So at the time, it's like, man, this sucks. Why do I have to go through this? Why am I having to go through this? Why can't I just drink the pop or eat the cake without having to freaking give myself a shot? And but then you look back on it and you're like, okay, yeah, it taught me some responsibility. I needed to take responsibility and learn how to survive. Because maybe later on down the road, you're going to be in a situation, well, maybe it was in law enforcement, all of a sudden you're faced with a decision like, oh crap, this guy's probably going to hurt me. I got to figure this out or I'm going to die. Like, that might be a little extreme. That might be a little extreme.
I mean, I can see the tie there, yeah. Giving yourself an insulin shot to making, like, quick decisions, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or, like, for you, like, running a business.
Calculating stuff at, like, a young age,
Yeah.
Being responsible for, like, your life, basically. Mm-hmm. I don't know how well that stuff works, but I don't know anything about it, so I won't touch on it. But, like, I mean, you can't be healthy for you to miss one of those.
Right. Maybe you could get some IV stuff for diabetics. Do some research. Cure me. Get my pancreas working.
I'll write it down. I don't know how that all works, but I'll learn about it.
There we go.
I'll ask my nurses.
What do you know about diabetes?
Yeah, so how can we cure this? Let's find a cure. Refresh IV. First diabetic cure.
We had heard it here first.
That'd be worth something there. Your mama could get her a nice house.
There you go. Yeah, I'd be on board. I'd be all for it, man. I'd be your first customer.
There you go.
Write a book about it.
Awesome. Yeah, I really enjoy testing all my stuff before I hand it out to the mass markets, right?
Yeah.
So all my compounds, most of my compounds, if I have a use for them, or if they would benefit me in some way, I'd love to test them myself. And if not, then I'll weight loss stuff. I don't really need that, so I'll have a different test group test that stuff, and I'll have them write down how their journey went. And then if it works, it's we'll bring it to market and we'll figure out either a good bag or a better compound. So it's super cool testing that stuff.
How do you find people for those test groups? You just kind of think of people that may work for? Or?
Yeah, the one that her bench press went up, and she was me and her daughter used to hang out back in the day. Mm-hmm. And then she I remember her telling me about it. She's like, if you can find a cure for this, that'd be sweet. And when it was 2-3 months later, I was like, hey, I might have found a cure for this. Can I test it on you? And then she's like, sure. I'm like, all right, I'll have a nurse there at 5.
Sure enough, huh? I
think it's crazy.
With COVID too, a lot of people lost their smell and then weren't able to get it back. I think Noah.
Maybe that's. Yeah.
My brother Noah, I don't know if he's quite got his back yet, or even my sergeant at work. I don't know if his was COVID related or not, but he can't smell either. So.
Man, yeah, that was crazy times. Ooh.
Yeah. We won't even go there. That was.
I got lucky though. I only missed 3 classes, so it was fine. It didn't really mess me up too much. And like I said, I don't really like friends or hanging out with a bunch of people. So freshman year of college, COVID time was fine with me. I just got to hang out with Shay.
Right.
We lived together at the time, and I was like, this is sweet. College is awesome. You're telling me I don't have to go to class. I get to drink beer because I'm out of the house now, and I just get to hang out with Shay all day.
Right.
Sign me up.
Yeah,
let's do this again. Let's do this 2022. Sign me up again, please.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So now that we kind of talked about kind of your business and family and friends a little bit, I appreciate you getting into that and discussing that. Fitness, that's another big thing because, growing up, and I'm a smaller guy myself, but growing up, you were always a smaller kid.
Yeah, I was super small.
Now you're not.
I was super small when I was a kid.
When did you start getting into fitness and why? What was the goal? Because even now, your business that you're trying to get up and going, it's all about wellness and improving yourself. Does that kind of tie into it?
Yeah, I can't say I'm jacked, but I'm moderately large.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's jacked. He's
okay. It is good for the personal brand for sure. I don't know if you watch any Alex Hormozi stuff, but that's
Write it down.
Alex Hormozi's he's just a business mind guy. He grows businesses, scales them to 100 billion, stuff like that.
How do you spell his last name?
Hormozy, Ozi or something like that.
Okay.
Just type in Alex Hort and Alex Hormozy, it'll come up. It'll pop up.
Okay.
You'll recognize him when you see him. That dude's jacked.
I might.
Yeah. So he used to launch gyms, and like being huge, you should run a gym, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're big, you're like you associate the gym with getting big, right? So if I'm healthy, it's good for my personal brand to tell people, like, it gives you you're like walking around with your credentials, right? Like you can't take it away from me. This was hard work. Like it took a bunch of calories and a bunch of time and a bunch of sleep to put this on. Nobody can take it away from me because I built it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not like something you earn. You have to put in the work, and you have to go through the grind. You have to embrace the suck to get here. And yeah, it's overall good for the brand, for Refresh. But I would say when I started fitness, I mean, I did jiu-jitsu when I was a kid. And like you said, I was always super skinny. But actually, today was like my 400-day mark of tracking calories. So I have like my little lightning code up in the top of my Fitness Pal, and today was 400 days. So 400 days ago, I was 142 pounds, and now I'm 200.
Jeez, man.
And like I'm a little bit higher body fat percentage, but like arguably a lot of it was lean muscle mass. So it just takes like time. It sucks, but it takes time.
So why did you want to start that at that time?
I was 140 at like 21.
And you're like, all right.
I was like, F this, dude. Like
did somebody say something to you that kind of made you feel negative about it, or
I'd always been around like leaner people, like coming up in the BLA. Everybody's pretty lean here, relative, right? But I just looked in the mirror one day, I'm like, this dude sucks. Like I'm gonna eat him for breakfast next year, and just every single day, 200 grams of protein, 3,600 calories, and then then you're just big. Like one thing that I've noticed and helped me drive a lot in like the last 3 months or so is imagine when you die, all of your potential selves as ghosts screaming at you saying, why didn't you do this? Imagine I was to die a small, sad, unconfident little man. And Big Grant is like, you could have been me, dude. Like all you would have had to do is just start today.
Right.
That's all you had to do. And like the unsuccessful Grant who died, successful Grant's like, dude, you could have bought your mom a house. You could have, paid for everybody's medical bills. Like I don't want to see those ghosts. I want to be those ghosts, right? So I don't want to like die and just regret stuff. I'm not scared of death or anything. It's just just become the best version of yourself, really. That's what got me into it. And then it ties into business and like, yada yada. You walk into a room and you take up this much space. I mean, it kind of demands respect in a way.
I'm writing a quote down. You said, "Don't see the ghosts, be the ghosts." I like that. I don't know if that's a quote of yours, but I'm putting it down as you said it first.
It's a turn on something else. There's a Stoic quote that it's tied to, but I don't know the correct quote, so we'll just make that one mine.
Well, I've heard something similar too, and it's like, hell is when you die, the person you are meets the person you could have become, and that's the same exact thing, and it's so true, and like you said, like. There's a lot of people nowadays, especially younger people, and well, I guess I think everybody does at some point in their life, look in the mirror and go, man, I suck. Like, why am I this way? And sometimes that can be a very bad thing, and I wouldn't advise negative self-talk. But it's also, and it can
that's one thing. That's okay. I want to before you go on. That's one thing. It's okay to be bad. It's okay to be bad. It's not okay to stay bad.
Yes.
Like it's okay to be 140. It's not okay to stay 140. It's okay to be overweight. Like, just get that weight down. That's all you got to do. Just improve 1% every day. I guess, who is that? Is that Demolition Ranch, I think? What's his name? Matt, I don't know. Jonas would be like, come on, Grant, you know who it is. But Matt from Demolition Ranch, he's like 1% better every single day. And then you'll be good. So
that's all it is. Yeah.
Before you tie him. Yeah. Right. I just wanted to add that. Yeah.
I know. I appreciate you saying that, too, because it is okay to look at yourself and say, I am not okay. Physically, mentally, spiritually. It's okay to come to that point, but to stay there. And, there's times like when you're grieving and going through a sad time, it's like, it's okay to have that time. Like, give yourself the grace to know, all right, yeah, I messed up. It's okay to, oh man, I made a mistake. And that's something that I really struggle with.
God's got a plan. Like, it'll all be okay. I mean, just work on it,
100%. Yeah, and like you said, it's 1%. And I've used this analogy before too. Like you look at the gym, you're looking at the rack of dumbbells at takedown, and somebody says, "Hey, lift that weight." And you're like, "Excuse me, I can't lift that weight. That's way too much." And it's like, okay, well, you can use the fives first if you have to. Do a little curl it out, all right? And once you feel a little better, you pick up the tens and you go. And then someday maybe you're down at the 100s and bench pressing those puppies. Like it's not you're not gonna be able to do it all at once, but it's that 1% that'll get you
it's okay to start slow. Just start.
Mm-hmm.
The people who start tomorrow will always lose. The people who start today will always win.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I've like started to live by. Is like, don't start tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of those start tomorrow guys. Like I had been in the gym
right there with you, man.
At a month at a time, years prior. I'd put on some size, be like, this is cool, and then I'd stop. Like just 1% better every day.
Mm-hmm.
Just start today.
It's as simple as that.
It really is. No, it sucks. It sucks, but yes, it is really that big. It is really that simple. It's like just start today and just gain a little bit. Like try. Have nothing to show for it, but I'm a little better.
Yeah.
How does that saying go? It's like work. No, nothing to show for it, but I'm a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Work. Have nothing to show for it, but I'm a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Every failure is one step closer to success.
Right.
Like that girlfriend that your mom said, she's not the one. She's not the one. She's not the one. She's gonna be wrong every single time except for the one.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's just like that with life. It's just simple. It's just it's not that deep. And start today.
All right. It's preach, man. And it's cool because it's like this is what this podcast is all about to me. I have different people come on and we have different perspectives on things because it opens up my eyes too to things. And the last podcast that I had with one of my buddies, he talked about fitness and his journey and like the way he stays committed and in the gym and stuff is he finds his why, and his why is his reason for doing things. It's like, well, why do you want to go to the gym? Because I want to get jacked. I want to be healthy. Well, why do you want to be healthy? Because I want to be able to play with my grandkids when I'm 90. I want to be able to go up and down the stairs and go ahead. But to have the contrast of getting so deep and okay, I need my purpose. That's why I'm going to the gym. But you can also take it down and have another route too. It's just like, okay, I don't have to have all of this stuff right now. I just got to get to the gym, walk on the treadmill, 1% better than I was the day before. Like, it's okay to not have it all together. Nobody does. But as you start to grow in that direction, and like you said, you're going to have those times where you're work, and there's nothing to show for it. You're taking those 2 steps forward, and it seems like it's 1 step back. But sometimes that 1 step back isn't a decline, or it's not going backwards. It's taking a step back and kind of analyzing and going, is this the way I'm supposed to be going? Because I'm sure, you've done a bunch of business work, like you said. And, these different businesses, they may have worked out or they didn't work out. And like, you take that step back and you're like, oh man, I failed at this. But it's like, actually, I think I took a wrong turn. I'm actually going more steps this way instead. Like, it's just another avenue out.
Yeah. The dots only go forward, but they only connect in reverse. Like,
yes.
Yeah. it was trippy the first time I heard it too, but like, they only go forward. They only make sense in reverse.
Right. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I love that perspective. So how do you stay consistent in the gym? Is it literally just, all right, just 1% better, let's go? It's just the routine of it kind of...
Yeah. At first, it was
just drive you?
At first, it was like you're small. And then now it's like, it's just part of normal life. Like, it's just, it is what I do, every weekday and every Saturday at 9 a.m. It's just the gym.
Mm-hmm.
But people have been asking me, like, when I was, like, small and then got big in, like, the first 4 months, like, that first, like, 50 pounds that I put on, people were like, oh, my gosh, Grant, you're so big. Like, how do you do it? How do you do it? How'd you do it? And I would tell them, because, like, I was like, this is so cool. Like, I did this thing. And then, like, they would have me explain it and then, like, teach them what they should do. And then they wouldn't, like, apply it. I'm like, why would you take my 30 minutes of me explaining it for you not to even, like, apply it?
Right.
So now what I do is either somebody will make fun of me for being big, and I'm like, just trying to look like you, my boy. And it's like, they're like, I probably shouldn't have said that. Like, my bad, yeah. Or they're like, I want some actual advice. I'm like, I would love to help you out. Like, I want to get you to be the best version of yourself. Shoot me a text when you want me to, like, teach you how to do it. Because then they have to take the first step and actually reach out. And I'm not just going to, like, sit there in the gym and yap for 20 minutes.
Right. Waste your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just started lifting with this girl. And she was like, no, I'm actually, like, serious about it. I was like, okay, well, what do you want to do? She's like, I don't want to be small anymore. I'm like, I can help you with that. And then, like, that night, she was like, hey, I upped my calories by, like, 500. I'm like, Say that's exactly how it is. Just start today.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a small, it's just 500 calories. That's all it is.
Right.
Just start today. Just start eating more or start eating less.
Do you eat what? So what do you eat? So myself, like I was talking to one of my buddies who used to be I work with him. He used to be a bodybuilder. He said the same thing. Like when he wanted to get big, he just ate a lot more, and he was kind of calculated, obviously. But so what did you focus on when you were trying to bulk up and get bigger? Were you eating specific things, or was it continually eating those things, or were you able to mix it up a little bit?
Just continuous high calories. When I started, I would say I started faster than most people. It was like one day we're not going to be like this anymore, and like the next day I had like not all the knowledge, but I had a lot of knowledge that I applied. And people would make fun of me for like taking my ice baths and not drinking on Saturday night during college. But it's like, dude, if I apply like 20 things or what make me 1% better every single day, I'm like 20% better than you in like come 10 days,
Right. So then you don't even have to have
I'm 20%. I'm 20% better every year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's like, but yeah, I mean, it's not really eating like there's no certain food that just magically makes you huge,
right?
But it's whatever your goal is, apply your diet to that. And if you want to get bigger, eat more calories and more protein. If you want to get leaner, eat a lot of protein and eat less food.
Mm-hmm.
Overall,
love that. So you kind of touched on naysayers saying what are you doing? Why aren't you drinking with us? Why are you doing your stupid ice baths? I'm sure throughout your life you've had that in business. Maybe with your family or even in the fitness realm, kind of like we're talking about. Do you let that affect you at all, or has it affected you, and how have you got around it?
I think it encourages me when somebody says I can't do something. Not from like I want to prove you standpoint, but I don't want to be the norm. I want to be uncommon amongst uncommon people. So when they're like, that's kind of crazy, you're like, yeah, see where I am in like a year, and then we'll see who's crazy.
Right.
Like they're like, I don't want to live your life. I'm like, I don't want to live yours either, so just don't live mine. I'm not going to live yours. Like,
right.
Let me enjoy my ice bath and my high protein meal, and I'm going to go to bed at 9 and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do the same thing tomorrow. Like it's what makes me happy. Yeah.
That's amazing. Because, myself, I've always been a night owl, and it's funny
that was really hard to turn off. It's like staying up till 2 a.m.
And that's something I'm still trying to work on. And there was times where like Courtney would go to bed because she is used to going to bed a little bit earlier than I would, and then I'd be like, oh man, well I want to stay up and do this or do that, and I'm still trying to hone it in. I'm like 10 o'clock is probably my average, and she's trying normally getting to bed around 9:30. But when I said that, I was just thinking about probably one of the last times that I stayed up as late as I did when it didn't involve work was when we went bow fishing on Gull Lake that one time.
Dude, we watched the sunset and rise in the same night with no sleep. That was crazy.
And I had to work.
Oh, that was so cool.
I had
to work that morning? Holy crap. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't remember where I was working at the time. I think I was doing landscaping, if I'm not mistaken. Or just like mowing. So I was like, that's what it is, caffeine, and we'll get after it.
Yeah. Drink your Red Bull and push your mower around.
But I remember, and I don't even know if I don't remember the whole story of how we got in there, but I think Jonas and you were going to do it. You're like, hey, you should come too. I'm like, all right. And
yeah, it's fun. Watch this.
Oh my gosh. That was one of the funnest times I've ever had with my bow. That was so much fun.
Super cool. Yeah. I remember that night.
And then we're like, is that the sun?
Yeah. we were cruising back into Margaret. We were hunting and we were fishing and we're like, yeah, that's where the sun comes up. And that's not city lights. That's east. That's the sun right there. We look down. It's like 5 a.m.
Yeah,
like, oh, whoops.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Me and Jonas crawl up in the loft and go to bed for 12 hours. And you got to go to work.
Oh well.
That was a long time ago, dude.
We got to do that again soon. Do you still bow fish at all?
No, we sold that boat. And then every May I would be busy with like spring cleanups and stuff. So. Yeah,
we'll get back to it. We got time. Yeah. Maybe someday.
Maybe Jonas will get a vote. He should get the vote next time.
We should, yeah. Let's do it.
There we go.
All right. I gotta just we're kind of getting to the end here, which is crazy how fast it goes when you're talking.
That was quick, yeah.
Yeah. Just a couple other questions, just kind of wrap it up. You mentioned this Alex Hormozi, yeah. Hormozi guy. But have there been any other, role models and people you look up to in your life, whether it's in life or fitness or business, or somebody that you kind of, because we all have those people, and one of mine is this guy right behind me.
Is that Michael Chandler?
It is.
I can't tell. Yeah.
he just got smoked in the face, and then he went down to the canvas, and Justin Gaethje went around him, and in this picture he's smiling. So I was like,
oh, that's the actual picture? That's crazy.
Yeah. And then he signed it when I got to meet him.
Awesome. So that's so cool.
So yeah, so that he's, you'll hear me talk about him a lot. And some people get annoyed by it, but anyway.
They don't have to watch. That's the great thing. You can. The X button is like right over here. Maybe it's over here for you. I don't know. You can go.
On to the next. Yes, sir. Yeah. So, do you have someone like that in your life? Whether it's somebody that's close to you, somebody you interact with, or somebody that you look up to online that you kind of get that extra motivation from?
I don't know about online so much, but definitely Shay, my older brother. He's not here, but he's usually right there working with me. He's a massive piece of my life. I don't know what I would be or where I'd be without him. And then Cole. I don't know if you can say you would look up to a little brother, but like you want to make sure that he has somebody to look up to.
Oh, for sure.
Like because he's younger, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to be a good role model for him, and then Shay's my role model for sure.
I love that.
Shay's been doing it for a long time, so.
Yeah, he's a good guy. It's been a while. Yeah. Every time I see him, it's an awesome interaction. But
you should have him on the pod.
I should. I really should.
He would love that.
Then we can get both of you on there too, do like a split screen.
Yeah, you can be right there, and then people could get all confused when like we can see each other twice. Yeah, it'd be awesome. What's
going on?
Yeah.
I love that you brought up Cole and how you want to be a good role model, inspiration for him, because a lot can be said. And I've seen this as a correctional officer in the jail when somebody's really struggling, and I'm a coach in what we call the impact unit as well, and so we do some classes with the guys and stuff, and there's times where they get pretty vulnerable and they talk about some stuff that they've been through, and it's like when I'm seeing the potential that they're able to have, like when they're working out or when they're talking and how they want to change, when I tell them like, you've got this, I believe in you, like I want to live a life and reflect a life where their work that they put into, like my I believe in you isn't just for nothing. Like, so then when they go out into their life or out into their world and they're doing whatever they're doing, trying to get back on track, when they think Bailey believes in me, so I got to do this. Like, so now I have to be someone that's
a huge driver. Yeah.
If that makes sense. I know it's kind of.
No, totally. When I'm being lazy piece of shit and I'm like, yeah, if Shay saw me right now, he'd be disappointed. We're gonna get up and we're gonna get back to work and we're gonna
or even Cole, hey, I told Cole that I need.
Cole walks around like sometimes I'll like, dude, sometimes I'll be doing a doom scroll on Instagram. I'm like, Cole comes around the corner. I'm like, I'll pull up the emails. I'm working. What's up, buddy? How can I help you? You know, it's like hang on, buddy. Yeah, no, I just want to be a good role model for him for sure. And then Shay drives me to be the best it can be. So
love that.
Do you think that being a CO it's a CO, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think being a CO kind of drove you to make this Iron Purpose thing? Or was like a piece of it at all?
I think it was because growing up, I really wasn't a confident person. I really struggled with, being confident in myself. And if somebody had a negative opinion of me, I started to identify with it.
Yeah.
And, excuse me, as I was in law enforcement and how it just kind of didn't work out and the timing didn't work out, Lakeshore, I talk about how I wasn't able to be where I wanted to be as a police officer, but the opportunity that I had with Lakeshore, had I stuck around, I would have been able to be full-time. I fully believe that. But, being in the jail kind of really opened up my eyes to my confidence in who I am and how I can affect other people and help other people. And, I hadn't really thought about it. That's a fantastic question, but being a correctional officer put me in a position to where I see a lot more people at their lowest points and their rock bottoms. Yeah. They come in, and sure, there are the ones that come in and they, they do some pretty awful things, some pretty bad crimes that it's really hard to shine a light in their life, even though you still do. You still, everybody's a human, everybody makes mistakes, but there are the ones that come in and they're crying and they're like, oh, I messed up, my life is over. It's like, okay, your charges are, trespassing or, something a little bit minor. Maybe you have whatever it may be. And, being able to help them, like sit down and tell them, hey, it's going to be okay. You're going to be able to get through this. Kind of sparked, I think, that mentality in my mind of trying to sharpen other people. And, like I've said before, this podcast or this group that I started first is based off of Proverbs 27:17, which is as iron sharpens iron, one person sharpens another. So as iron sharpens iron, whatever it is you're going through, one person is able to sharpen that person. And we also have the power to, put people down. And you are, being around you and stuff, you're a very positive person, and you're kind of like, and maybe I could be wrong. It just doesn't seem like you let a lot of things affect you, and you're like kind of go with the flow, and you're
No,
like,
nothing's that deep. Like if somebody wanted to hurt you, they would hurt you, and if you just don't let them bother you,
mm-hmm.
them it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like
And
I still get to call him if I need him, so like it's fine. Like
that's what I'm talking about.
You can not like me if you don't want to. You don't have to watch the podcast. Leave.
Right.
Like
Uh-huh.
I'm still gonna run my ads, and he's still gonna be my brother, so it's gonna be fine. Yeah,
absolutely.
Don't let it bother you. It's not that deep.
Right. And I feel like I don't think there's ever been a time where I've been like, "What up, Grant?" and you just been like, "Yeah, hey, whatever." It's always like you match the energy.
What's up, boss? How you doing today? Yeah, for sure.
I
just love making people smile, dude. It's like,
it's so
why
huge.
would you want to be rude to somebody? Like, what's the point? What do you gain out of it? You get to put somebody down so you're bigger than them?
Yeah.
Why? Why would you do that, man?
Right.
Like, man, my mom always says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, everybody's fighting a battle you know nothing about. That's another thing she says all the time. And I didn't really understand that. I did, but like, it didn't click for me until, of course, it was Shay again. He was like, if you were raised the exact same way and you had that person's exact same life, you would make the same decisions they did. Like if your parents raised you the same way and you had the same life experience, you would make the same decision that they did. You would trespass just the way he did. Do you think you kind of like sympathize with people like that in the jail? You're like, or do you not really see that? And you're like, nah, you probably shouldn't have done that.
It's case by case. Some of them, there's a couple that come in that it's like, dude, you were just here last week. What are you doing? Like, I know, man. Sorry.
You got your regulars at the Crow Wing County Jail.
Unfortunately, you do.
Oh, man.
But, and then, you have the ones that, you can kind of have a little bit of more rapport with. You've built up not a relationship because we don't have like relationships with them in there at all. But you kind of just being around and what you can and can't say as far as, kind of joking around with them or, man, you screwed up again. What are you doing? But there are some, that's like, oh man, they made a big mistake. We're not even gonna touch that. Like,
maybe that was a little bit too much of an extreme. Maybe like
no,
I don't know. But it just kind of opened my eyes to like you would make the same exact decision if you were raised the same way and you had the same life experiences. Yeah, so it was just crazy. Like, that's so true.
It really is. And there's something that I heard. Life is like a highway. Shout out Rascal Flats, life is a highway.
There you go.
But I may be up here on this highway. I may be up there ahead, going faster or whatever, and you may be back here, or somebody else may be in a different location. But we're all the same distance to the ditch, whether if you're up there or back here.
Wow.
And some people, you go in the ditch. Some people go farther, and you need to call help. You need to get people to help tow you out to get you back on track. But it doesn't matter where you are. You're still one decision away from.
Yeah.
It's crazy, when you really start to think about it, especially being a CO in a jail. You're like, okay, that guy's in here for this. Man, it really could happen to anybody. And so it's all based on, it really is how you're raised and the values that you had and the patience that you're able to have with, if your temper gets high and you want to start fighting somebody, okay, you're going to go to jail for it, or you're able to de-escalate or not let it affect you. Like, all right, call me whatever you want, man. You can carry that around. I'm going to be over here having fun. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's just not that deep.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, man, it's so true. It's so interesting, too, to, like, talk about mindset and, like, all that stuff. Because it really is just all mindset. Like,
100%.
If you can't lose, you can't lose. Like, the most dangerous person is somebody who has nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I'm in a point in my life that I really have nothing to lose. Mm-hmm. So I can take as much risk as I want. And sure, it has a lot of reward, or I could fail. If I fail, okay, didn't really lose anything. I still get to go to takedown in the morning. Like, we'll try again tomorrow. It sounds like gambling almost because like I'll just put it on black again. But yeah, if I lose, I learn something. Yeah, and I get to apply it to my next venture, whatever it is. Like
100%.
Realistically, I mean, if I wouldn't have come up with this injectable vitamins thing, I would have gone under. And if I wouldn't have had like if I would have had too many friends or something, I would have just, messed around for too long and then I would be in the hole. But now we have this and we're up and running and we're going to be all right. But like, it's crazy to think. I don't know, man. It's so weird.
I love that.
Life is so interesting.
One more question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
In what ways do you hope to inspire others through your journey and achievements? Is that something you're thinking about as you're going? Are you hoping, maybe I can make a difference? Like, what are, what does success look like for you? What is that overall goal of, I've got this business. What do you think that purpose is, and that where, how does that tie into what you're doing? Is this something you think about much, or?
Yeah, it is. I've been trying to kind of define what success means for me as I'm coming up. When I got out of college, I was like, we need to make as much money as possible,
Mm-hmm.
and like we need to be, super successful, quote unquote, like wealthy. But now it's kind of changing to become the best version of myself that makes myself feel like the most successful in life, not just wealth. I want to be able to buy my mom a house, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to be able to take care of anybody's medical bills who needs it.
Mm-hmm.
And if the boys want a new truck, they can get a new truck. That's Jonas' thing. Jonas wants to buy all of his boys a new truck. So I don't know. I think he rubbed off on me a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you got to take care of the people around you. I
Mm-hmm.
originally thought it was only me, and like I'm the only one who's gonna like benefit from my success. But really, anybody can. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to be in the circle, sure. Like, mom gets a house. That's
Right.
kind of like it's kind of how I look at it. And
Mm-hmm.
like success, another thing is like I want to not have to have financial conversations with my wife. Like, I don't want finances to be an issue because I've seen that and it's not fun.
Mm-hmm.
um, so I just not have to have that conversation and then buy mom a house and take our medical bills.
There you go.
And then become as jacked as possible. That'd be pretty freaking sweet. maybe like 20 more pounds and we'll be good.
You are well anywhere there, man. And if only
The next 20 is gonna be like another year or two, probably.
that's all right.
Yeah, it takes time.
Right.
We speed ran the first, like, what is that? 60 pounds? 400 days, 60 pounds. It's not bad. Not bad. I'll take it.
That is so sick. Yeah. No, that's important, man. That.
What do you think success is for you?
That's a great question. Growing up, I thought it was becoming a police officer, being getting married, all these different things that are like events in my life. And the older I've gotten, and the different things that I've gone through, and most recently I went to a concert in Bacchus of all places, and it was a Christian contemporary band, 10th Avenue North, but it was just a lead singer, and he's kind of doing his own thing now. But Mike Donahue is his name, and I got to talk to him, and he might actually come on the podcast, which would be super cool because but something that he kind of said was, it's not about all the things that we want to try to do for our life. It was like purpose. Like the purpose of my life wasn't to become a police officer, even though I wanted that to be. Like the purpose is being the best possible version of myself.
Yep, there it is.
Wherever it is that I'm at, and things are gonna fall into place. So it's like,
yep.
Law enforcement may have been the thing for me at one point, and now I'm in the jail in a different capacity of law enforcement. It's where I never thought that I would be, but it doesn't mean that I can't be used there. Like in here, being a Christian band, he talked about like, he's like, I don't want to butcher this, but it's more of, I don't think God really cares what we're doing and how we're doing it. It's more of posturing our heart towards him. And I know not everybody out there has a background in faith, so posture your heart towards God, and which would look like trying to just be the best person you can be caring, be giving, empathetic, nice, just crack a smile. Because why would you be anything else? It's just, life's too short to not be the best person you could be for yourself, for your family, for everybody else. And it's not those specific events. It's not becoming a police officer. It's not getting married. It's being the best man that I can be for my wife, for my future family, because all of it's going to fall into place at that point. And
yeah, God's got a plan.
100%. And it's not something, and growing up, like I said, I thought it was, everything is going to be great when I this or when I that, but
I did too. I was like, $1 million is gonna be sick. And now I'm like, it's like, it's not even gonna like matter in 5 years. Like, right. It's gonna be like 100,000 a year equivalent. It's just, you just become the best version of yourself and just 1% better. Always be progressing. And
it helps you live in the moment, and it helps you enjoy
so much, dude.
Every single day in and day out. Yeah, there's gonna be stuff that comes up, but it's like, all right, let's we'll get the next one. We'll move on. But like,
embrace the suck, man. That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you can just continue to be that best possible version of yourself, one day at a time, 1% at a time, like all that stuff's gonna fall into place, and you're gonna be like, okay, yeah, maybe I didn't maybe I didn't get the promotion at my job, or maybe I wasn't able to do this today, but at least I, made my wife smile. At least I was able
Yeah.
to go on a walk with my kids or with my dog or whatever it is. Like it's, kind of goes back to the Ninth Street thing. I had a bad day, but I got this drink waiting for me at the end of it. And when you can kind of hang your hat on your day like that, knowing that you weren't able to maybe get everything done, like the goals that you had in place, those events that you wanted to do, but you're able to stay, throughout. I feel good about how I interacted with other people, and I think that's what it's all about. Other people has been a huge passion of mine, especially over the past couple of years. So it's especially exciting to be able to do a podcast like this and talk to people that
Yeah, it's super
that
cool.
I wouldn't get a long time to talk. I haven't talked to you. Every time I talk to you, it's like a couple minutes here and there in the gym. But to be
Yeah.
able to have an hour long conversation with you is pretty sweet.
Oh, that was fast, damn.
I know. I
I
know.
was like, all right, we got like another 45 left. Like, let's get rolling here.
Just getting started. But
Yeah.
what I do tell the people all the other guests that I've had were like, what, we're done? We'll just have to do another one.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll do a Grant Feltz episode 2.0.
PT2.
PT2, baby.
Love it.
That's awesome. So where can people find you? Where can they find this business of yours? And I haven't quite figured out I don't know if I'll be able to edit it or not yet, but
Boink.
it's gonna be right there.
I made a video on one of those, and it was like I winged it. I was like, I'll figure it out in editing, but I'm gonna make this clip. It's on the refresh page. It's like, here are the 3 ways to stay hydrated. I'm like, isn't that sick? I had no idea how to do it. I was like, that's gonna be sick. So we're just gonna say it. Isn't that cool? I just thought I'd do it on YouTube. I just loved it. But yeah, you'll figure it out. Just be like, so right here is my tags for my business, and then my personal brand here on Instagram on both. They should be the same tags on Facebook and IG, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, Grant Feltz at Instagram, and then get dot refreshed. I don't know. Instagram tag is weird, but it's right here. Bailey will figure it out because he's an awesome dude. Yeah, right there. Or it's in my bio of Grant Feltz on Instagram.
There we go. Yeah. If not,
yeah,
we'll play it safe.
For sure. He's got it.
I'm gonna figure it out, but if not, it's down here somewhere.
Yeah, it's down below. It'll be down here. So it's either gonna be here, there, or there. You know what I'm saying? It'll be somewhere.
Maybe both.
You'll find it.
Keep you guessing.
Go on a search, or just search Refresh IV on YouTube, on Google. Yeah.
Heck yeah, buddy. Well, I appreciate you. This has been super cool. Like I said, we'll get another one in sometime. But,
PT2.
It's you got a lot of cool experiences, and the cool thing is like you're just getting started, man. So
yeah,
I think
it's weird. I'm only like 2 months into like living a normal, like grown up life.
Mm-hmm.
Just embracing the suck every day.
Absolutely. I think you're gonna do great things, buddy. I believe in you, and I'm looking forward to see where it's gonna take you, who you're gonna be, what you're gonna do.
And next year's gonna be really interesting, and those chapters are unwritten. Like my previous years were, the next like 4 years was always written. It's gonna be finish college, but finish school, whatever degree it is, or high school, whatever. It was always just finish something. But now it's like those pages are unwritten, 100%.
Here's the pen, buddy.
Yeah. Here you go. I get to write my own future now. It's pretty cool. I love it. It's super exciting times. It's like no more semesters. It's just seasons. Whether it's whether it's a 6-month season or an 18-month season.
I love that.
But we're in a growth season right now, so we'll see how long it lasts.
It's always growth season.
It's always a growth season. That's true. Whether it's up or down, it's always growth.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. It's been real. Like I said, I appreciate you. We'll do it again sometime.
PT2 coming soon.
Heck yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Stay sharp, everybody.
Yes.
See you, Grant.
See ya.